This is the Limo Show.
This is not another story. This is not another drill. I refuse to be another.
What is up, my man? Hope you're doing well. And today I wanted to talk about something that is kind of underrated in game. Alright, it's kind of something that some guys think it's already acquired. Some guy thinks this is something that's really, up to luck, up to chance, and that's really something that they don't need to work on. Alright, and one of the things I see in newbies or in people that are starting in game is really an underestimation of inner game. Alright, they think that they have to rely on some gimmick, they have to rely on some kind of sentence or some canned material, something that, a pickup line or whatever. But in reality, what you have to work on is your inner game and your mental clarity. Alright, because a lot of guys don't know who they truly are, don't know what they truly want, and don't know what type of women they want to attract. Okay, they just think that because they're going out in a club, they're gonna necessarily meet the type of woman or attract the type of woman that they want. And that's fucking false, alright? Because if you don't picture what kind of women you wanna have, you'll never have it, alright? It's the same thing as if someone wants to go to Harvard, okay? Do you think he's going to Harvard by luck? No. Students are planning years and years to go to Harvard, okay? There's a huge chance that the students that were accepted in Harvard last year planned through all that high school to go to Harvard, alright? They planned it for many years and years. You don't get to Harvard by luck. And it's the same thing with life. You don't get what you want by luck. You plan for it, alright? And there's this whole book like The Secret, law of attraction, intention equals attraction of what you want to have, and that's pretty much the same concept here. It's really knowing what you're about, alright? And so how do you truly know who you are? Because who you are is really this abstract concept, alright? Who are you truly? Okay, what are you? Are you this kind of muscle mass? Are you fucking bones and skin? What are you? Alright, what are you doing here? What is your fucking place in the world, man? I don't know. You have to answer it. And so there is 3 questions that most people never truly answer in their lives, alright? And if you're gonna answer these 3 questions right now after this video, this is gonna put you 99% more ahead than all of the guys. You're basically gonna be in the top 1% of guys that truly value their time and that truly value their life. If you're gonna answer to these questions right now that I'm gonna give you, you're gonna be part of the 1% of men that truly value their time and that truly value their life, okay? If you don't value your time, you don't value your life. So here's the 3 questions. The first question you wanna ask yourself is, what kind of man am I, alright? What kind of man are you? Really, take a journal. What are you? What are your values? What do you value the most in life? Do you value family? Do you value money over family? Do you value family over money? Do you value more your relationships or your growth? Do you value more your friends or your family? Do you value more presence and awareness, or do you value more pleasure and gratification? Do you value, you need to know your values. There's different values that I'm gonna provide you here with a PDF with a list of values, and you have to pick up the 5 most important values, and then if you can, maybe the 3 most important values that you're gonna live by. So what are your values? What are your morals? Okay, what is your moral code? Because if you don't have a moral code, then you're gonna rely on some moral code that you're gonna model from someone else. Okay, if you're not gonna engineer your moral code, you're gonna get it from someone else. Okay, most people are like a leaf in the wind. They see a moral code somewhere imposed by the culture, the government, the religions, and they get identified with it without truly reflecting on the assertiveness and the purpose of that moral code. Okay, we know now that most of the religion beliefs and moral code are kind of absurd in a way. All right, there is some foundations, all right, some great foundations about all religions. Actually, all religions have an amazing foundation. All right, an amazing foundation. What I mean by that is really the values of gratefulness, the value of being present. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is only within. That's fucking true. But there is no religion higher than the truth. All right, there is no religion higher than the truth. And how do you know what's the truth, really? So, some authors like David Hawkins, some great philosophers, thought about these questions a lot. And what this is kind of led to is really the truth lies in the universal laws. Okay? So, isn't it true that when you give, you receive more? Isn't it true that when you're grateful, you have a better state? Isn't it true that gratefulness or joy as a state is better than shame, guilt, fear? Yeah, okay. That's universal laws. You can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it, and that's the truth, okay? Now, is it true that you have to kill some people in order to defend the territory? Is it true that you have to, put some kind of fucking black thing on your face and your body in order to be respected by men or by other religious instances, all right? No, that's not fucking true. So there is some beliefs, some cultures, some way of thinking that may have been imposed to you from your childhood, by your parents, by your family, by your teachers, by the government, by the religion, that makes you who you are and that limits you in a way, not only with women, but in business, with the friends you meet, with the people you interact with on a daily basis, and also the things you look up to, okay, the things you value. So really put your values clearly. What value do you have? What moral codes do you have? And it's not this kind of bullshit like you put 3 values and then that's it. You really want to develop why you value those, all right? Why do you value presence? Why do you value awareness? Why do you value, for example, family over friends or money above family? Why do you value friends and not your career? Or I don't know. You have to put this in place. And I'm not going to tell you what value do you value because that's your life. And I don't care how you want to live your life. I just care that you need to be clear on that, all right? What kind of man am I? And what do I stand for? And that's also a case in relationships with women. You're gonna have a fight, okay, at some point with your girlfriend or your partner. And sometimes this fight is gonna come from nowhere, okay? It's like a low vibration energy thing, Let's say someday you forget to clean your dishes, all right? And then your wife is kinda, she's kinda stressed out because she was at her job or something. And she comes back home, she sees the fucking dishes not made, and she comes to your room or she comes to you and she says, hey babe, this is not gonna work out anymore. Like, I'm fucking fed up of you not cleaning the fucking dishes. And she starts like screaming at you, and you never do this, and you know what I do for you, and you don't even do this. And she's kind of screaming at you, and it's low vibration, right? So if you don't have your values clearly, okay, if you don't know what kind of man you are, you're just gonna be reactive, okay? You're gonna react to her, you're gonna maybe be angry, you're gonna give her anger back, and that's gonna translate into a downward spiral of low vibration energy. But what if you know your values? What if you know that you're the type of guy that if you say you're gonna do something, whether you like it or not, and it is something that is needed to do, whether you like it or not, you're gonna do it, then instead of reacting, you're just gonna tell her, look, I forgot to do this thing, I'm the type of guy that does this, I'll do this later. Something like that, You need to know what you stand for, okay? You always wanna be that guy that's a fucking rock in terms of inner game, okay? You have to know your values, you have to know what you stand for, and you have to know what you're about. Because if you don't know what you're about, you're gonna be like a fucking leaf in the air, all right? You're gonna go where the current goes, okay? And you know what? Dead fish go with the flow. Only dead fish go with the flow, all right? You don't wanna be a fucking dead fish. You wanna set the flow. You wanna set your values. You wanna know who you are, all right? So it's very, very important that you reflect on this, all right? Lock yourself up for a day and really answer in detail those questions, all right? So the second question is, what kind of life do I want to live, all right? If you don't plan for your life, if you don't have a plan for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years ahead, you're never gonna achieve these goals, okay? Straight up, if you don't have a plan right now, written out, you're not gonna achieve your goals. They made a study in the 70s where they had a couple of students in a classroom, okay? And they asked these students to actually write their goals, all right, in a sheet of papers. Where do they project themselves in 10 years, 20 years from now? All right, so the students started writing and they started projecting themselves into the future and really putting things down in writing, all right? And they had another control group who didn't write the goals, okay? You know, it's just normal class, didn't write the goals, and they pretty much lived their lives without writing goals, all right? I don't know if they've written the goals maybe after the class or whatever, in some day, but they've never been asked to write the goals. So what happens? They started following these guys for 10 to 20 years. It was, I think, 20-year long study or something like that. So what have they noticed? Okay, what is the result of this experiment? The people that have written the goals in the first class are 5 times more likely to achieve their goals. 5 times more likely. Okay? Isn't it crazy? So if you take a fucking day of your fucking life and you just write these goals, you're 5 times more likely to achieve them. Okay? So instead of watching your dumbass Netflix or a fucking TV show, okay, that's gonna be there 10 years from now, and that's fucking bullshit for your brain with canned laughter and fucking shit on it, you better write your fucking goals, alright? So instead of watching these fucking TV shows, alright, write your fucking goals, man. Okay? Lock yourself up for 2 days straight with no fucking internet, no fucking television, no fucking social interaction. Alone, by yourself, 48 hours with no fucking phone. So you want to lock yourself up for 48 hours without a fucking phone, without a fucking computer on, without any social interaction. Put some food, okay, put some, you know, buy some hygienic food, some cool food, and lock yourself up with a journal. And really reflect about this. What kind of life do you want to live? And the more detailed, the better. Okay, write your plans down, man. Okay, and I know it sounds woo-woo. I know it sounds like it's the bullshit personal development shit that you just, you know, you just write something and it's gonna happen by magic. But there's no magic, okay? This is only to prime your subconscious to attract to you what you truly want, and to prime also your conscious mind to really have the assertiveness to take the proper action when times come. Alright, so it's really to prime your subconscious and your conscious mind to take these actions, because without action, there's gonna be no result. Alright, you know, when the book The Secret came about, you know, less than 20 years ago, a lot of people have been trapped into this thinking that if they stay, you know, in a cave or in their garage and they keep thinking about winning the lottery, they think that they're gonna win the lottery. Alright? And no, you have to take fucking action, okay? So action plus intention equals massive result. And you want to put some intention, okay? Action plus intention, and I'd say also plus energy, okay? You can take some fucking action, but if you have no energy, if you have no dedication in that on that thing. Even if you take the action, it's not going to be a serious action. So what kind of life do you want to live? What kind of food do you want to eat? How do you see yourself living? Where do you see yourself living? How does your apartment or your house looks like? Okay, what skills do you want to have? What men or women, if you're watching this, do you want to become? Okay, do you want to become a public speaker? Do you want to become someone that influences people? Do you want to be someone that radiates positivity and that's fucking hero? Okay, or do you want to be a fucking miserable guy with a 9-to-5 job that doesn't even like him and that's tied to instant gratification and pleasure, and that's basically influenced by social conditioning so much that he doesn't even have the courage or even the intention to be a better person? Okay, he just wants to be in his fucking comfort zone and he's gonna rot. Okay, he's gonna rot there. Do you want to be that guy? I guess not if you're here. If you're fucking here, you're someone, I guess, that's quite like me, that's, you know, that's someone that's ambitious, someone that's committed to a higher self, to a better version of himself, to mastery, all right? And if you're someone like this, which I wish you do, you have to put this down, man, okay? This is probably gonna be one of the best gifts you can give to yourself. The gift of intentionally setting up your life, all right? You are 5 times more likely to achieve your goals if you do that, all right? So really now brainstorm, what kind of life do you want to have? Okay, what food are you gonna eat? Are you gonna be the type of guy that eats in 5-star hotels on weekends, that eats in the best chefs in the world, that travels the world, see new cultures, try new food, immerse himself in new, in new realm of life, in new realms of life? And also you want to make these intentions feasible, all right, feasible. You don't want something that's so out of reality that it gives you despair, all right? You don't want to set something like, yeah, I want to have a penthouse on the moon. No, okay, that's possible, okay? I'm not the type of guy that says that something is impossible, but I'm not the type of guy either that's gonna set this up right now for my life, because that's gonna give me some discourage, all right? That's so much out of like the reality right now. So you want to set something that's feasible, something that's actually implementable, something that can be actionable right now in your life, all right? Is it possible to have a penthouse on Madison Avenue in New York, a 10 million penthouse? Yeah, of course, even 100 million, even a billion. I don't know if it exists, but it's possible. This is possible. But a penthouse on the moon right now is kind of difficult, all right? So you want to make things feasible, all right? That's key also. And as I said, the more detail, the better. So really, it goes back to also like, what kind of clothing do you want to have, okay? Is it like streetwear clothing most of the time, or is it a mix of both, like streetwear and also like suits and all of that? Is it like, are you going to be the type of guy that grooms himself a lot, or are you going to be the type of guy that really doesn't shave, or are you going to be the type of guy that's going to party every weekend, or are you going to be the type of guy that's going to work hard for a few weeks and then have incredible vacations? You need to plan all this, all right? That's why it takes so much time. You really have to plan every fucking detail, because the more you plan those details, the more it is likely to be realized, all right? And the kind of state that you want to be right now, if you're going to do this, is really a state of a child before Christmas, all right? How's a child before Christmas? I don't know if yourself, you do Christmas. Myself, I come from a Muslim background, but we always have been celebrating Christmas because it's just fun, and it's also cool, you know, to offer gifts to members of your family. So we only do it for that. And I remember before Christmas, I was so excited. My dad would bring up like some journals with like, you know, new gifts, or like, you know, PlayStations and games and all sorts of toys. And me and my sister, we would actually like watch this journal and really pick up everything we wanted and like make this list of things we wanted, and then like give it to our parents. And we would tell them, hey, that's what I want, you know, the Santa to bring me. And and we were so excited because we knew that could happen maybe. So you have to be really ecstatic, all right? Ecstatic. You really want to think that all these things are going to happen, all right? But as I said, it has to be feasible, okay? It's as if you were talking to a genie right now. Let's say genie would come to you and would say, hey man, you can tell me everything you want to be in the future and I'll give it to you. Just tell me explicitly what you want to be, what you want to have, all right? It's the same thing, okay? Have this sense also of limitlessness, all right? Be limitless about this. Write everything, every fucking thing, and then put it like, take pictures or put it on your computer. So a few months from now, you're gonna see that the things that you used to value in your life are gonna shift, all right? The things that you used to value in your life are gonna shift. The people that you used to attract in your life are gonna shift, all right? And all of this because of one thing, your brain, all right? Our brain is so powerful, okay? We have like antennas in our brain, okay? You have two antennas in your brain, all right? The first antenna is always looking for threats, all right? Threats, things that could go wrong, all right, in your life. This is like, this is like the survival brain, okay? Things that could go wrong, things that you need to do in order to live, things like that. The second brain is more creative, okay? It's a more creative brain that's more into seeing the future, okay? Seeing and imagining what kind of things you need to do in the future. If you prime your brain to be more in this antenna, okay, that looks for things in the future, that looks for things that you can accomplish, and less with this antenna that's, that's only concerned with things that could go wrong, things you need to do to survive, things you need to do in order to get pleasure now, okay, instead of later. If you're more focused on this antenna that sees the long-term thing, okay, the long-term thinking, okay, long-term thinking is probably the best skill you can cultivate, all right? And there's a quote, there's an adage in personal development: wisdom is knowing the consequences of things before they happen, okay? So if you're only using this antenna, okay, that's only focused on pleasure, that's only focused on in-the-moment demands, all right? You're gonna think, okay, what can I do right now to give myself pleasure? Oh, there's some Nutella here. Let me get some Nutella. Oh, there's a party right now, but I know I need to work tomorrow, but there's a party right now. All the girls are gonna be there. Let's go there. I know I have to give this work tomorrow, but it's okay. I'll wake up like super early, I'll sleep 2 hours, I'll wake up early, and I'll finish it, all right? This is your fucking antenna that you want to repress, all right? If you're thinking about with your right antenna, okay, you're gonna think, okay, look, I have a party, there's gonna be girls, I'm already an abundant guy with girls, I know I can attract girls anytime, anywhere, this party is not gonna go away. However, my work that is important, my work that gives me this sense of certainty, and that gives me my income is more important, all right? And if I don't sleep tonight, then tomorrow I'll have a bad state, okay? Then tomorrow I'll have to nap. I'll have to waste a lot of time, okay? So, look, it's only a matter of looking long term, planning, and knowing what you value the most and what kind of man you are. And then the third question, okay, is, what kind of people do I want to be around? Okay, what kind of people do I want to be around? Okay, in terms of women, whether short-term or long-term relationships, whether also mentors, friends, acquaintances, what kind of people? Okay, and now you can write on. I like the type of people that read. I like the type of people that are seeking growth. I like the type of people that are passionate about something. I like the type of people that have a sense of health and that are mentally clear about who they are. I like the type of people that are grateful and that seek for opportunities to help other people. You can make a list of all these things about people you want to be around. Okay, I like the type of woman that knows how to say yes, thank you, please, that knows how to behave with other high value people, high entrepreneurs, that knows how to, have a conversation. If someday you want to have a dinner with other millionaires and even billionaires, you want to have a woman that knows how to dress, knows how to behave, and knows how to convey herself in a high value way and to communicate value clearly. All right? And so it's so important. And speaking about value, in terms of women, one of the most important and underrated things in game, in terms of mental clarity, is that guys don't know what are their value proposition. Okay? In any business in the world, if the business isn't clear about what value it provides, it will fail. All right? Domino's Pizza, super clear. If you don't get your pizza in 30 minutes, you'll get it free. Okay, so fast, pizza, if not free. Okay, super clear. You need to have a clear understanding of what you offer to these women. All right, and this is going to determine your sense of certitude when you're going to talk to them, your subcommunications, your sense of entitlement and deservingness, and also your sense of buyer instead of seller in the interaction. A lot of guys are what we call supplicators of qualification. A lot of guys are what we call supplicators of qualification. They supplicate themselves into qualifying. All right? Hey, I have this boat and, I work on this thing so I make a lot of money. So, no. Hey, if you hang out with me, I'll buy you this and I give you that. Okay? They're supplicating. Okay? They are communicating their value explicitly and they're selling themselves. All right? No. What you want to be is the buyer. Okay? What do you want? What kind of companion do you want to have in your life? What do you want? And after you know exactly what kind of archetype, maybe you'll have different archetypes, by the way, of women. And you'll know this through time, by the way. That sometimes you'll know the type of woman you want to have in your life based on the type of women you already had, or sometimes you're gonna know the kind of woman you want to have in your life based on the type of woman you're attracted to but never had. All right, you want to write both types of women that you've been successful with. If you had past relationships that were cool, you want to write those archetypes, and also women that you're attracted to on a daily basis or in clubs or whatever that you never had. Okay, you have different archetypes, so you want to write this down. So what I mean by that is you need to know your value. Okay, if you're a guy that's exercising, if you're a guy that's already reading a lot of books, that's into personal development, that's watching this exact video, if you're a guy that's working on himself, that has a clear path of where he want to be in the future, if you have all that, you're setting yourself up to be in the top 1% of guys that have this clearly. Okay, and that's going to translate in everything, in your behaviors, okay, in your subcommunications, in how you interact with others, and also in your default demeanor. Okay, I see people in their eyes, you can see it in their eyes. Okay, if they're ambitious, if they have clear goals that are really, really ambitious, let's say a goal to make $100 million in the next 3 years, you're gonna see their eyes light up. Okay, their pupils light up. But if you have some other guys that have the goal, that have no goal, if you have another guy, okay, another chode that have no fucking goal, okay, he doesn't know where he want to be, he doesn't know clearly what he want to have, he just a leaf in the wind, then their eyes are kind of closed. All right, their pupils are kind of dead inside. Okay, and those guys live in escapism. They live into pleasure-seeking environments. These guys can thrive in environments that are short-term pain but long-term rewards. Okay, they only thrive into short-term pleasure and long-term dread. All right, so it's really about that, like knowing your value, man. like your value proposition. What do you offer? You know, if you're the type of guy that meditates, maybe you'll offer more clarity. Maybe you'll initiate her to have those good habits. Maybe you'll enhance her life by training together, by bringing some fun together. Maybe you have some cool friends that you can, you know, maybe you have some cool friend, a cool social circle that you can bring her in. You know, all these attributes, you want to list them down, because when you're gonna know your value proposition, because you are the product, okay? You are a business by yourself. You are the CEO of your own life. You are a business, okay? It's the Limo company. It's the you company, all right? And as a CEO, as a publicist, all right? On social media, honestly, I view myself as a publicist of my own life, okay? I only post offers, pictures, you know, bites of my personality out there, and it's only offers, and the product, you know, improves over time, all right? If you're someone that goes to the gym, that eats well, that reads a lot of books, you're in an upward spiral, so your product gets better and better through the years. If you're someone that's not really clear about what his health is going to look like in some years, not very clear about his plans and how he's going to, you know, behave, and what he's committed to do, what the behaviors he's committed to do in order to achieve these goals, man, you either grow or you die, okay? You're either someone that grows or someone that decays. So that's it, man. That's really it. Take a journal, take 4 hours minimum, and really write down these 3 questions. What kind of man am I? What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of people do I want to attract in my life? All right, 3 questions, 4 hours minimum. You just write. No fucking telephone, no fucking computer. You're gonna see how much you're gonna get clear. You're gonna see how much your confidence level is gonna rise up the next days and months, also if you keep reading it. And that's gonna change your life, okay? We underestimate the value of this, okay? We think it's already granted, okay? Or maybe you've done it, maybe you know that, and you've done it 2 years ago, okay? That's not the same, okay? If you don't read it, if you don't put it in detail, and if you don't you know, improve it over time, because also you change, so your goals get bigger, okay? Your ambition gets better, and your willpower also gets stronger. So you have to review it. Maybe you weren't that ambitious 2 years ago or a few years ago. So get this straight down right now, okay? Get this right now.